Good afternoon, children.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
We were discussing about the production of biogas using microorganisms. We also learned about use of different organisms, especially microorganisms, as biocontrol agents to reduce the dependence on chemical substances and depending upon or using these biological control methods or biocontrol methods will help us to reduce pollution to a great extent. That's why farmers are also encouraged, or they are more dependent on these biocontrol methods now. And we discussed a few examples also about a bacterium and two other organisms we discussed. Which are those organisms? Michael, which are the organisms that we discussed last class, which can act as biocontrol agents?
Ladybirds and dragonflies.
One more. Which bacterium?
Bacillus
It
thuringiensis.
did come out of your mouth. Bacillus thuringiensis. Okay. Nevin, Sania, Anna, Naureen. You people have to sponsor some energy drinks for me. Okay. Boost, Bonvita, I'm leaving it to you. You can decide and send by courier, or if somebody is coming this side, give it to me. Okay. Let me drink all that and energize myself, because after every 5 minutes, I have to call out your names. Okay, the last part. Now we are going to learn about a few more biocontrol agents, and then we will learn the use of microorganisms as biofertilizers too. So in continuation to what we were learning last period, we are going to learn about a few more biocontrol agents. Trichoderma species, it's a fungus. They are seen in the root ecosystems and they help in controlling several plant pathogens. So they are found in the roots of plants and they will help in controlling different disease causing organisms. Baculoviruses. Baculoviruses, and these viruses come under the genus Nucleopolyhedrovirus. Year before last year or this year exam was not there, no? So not last year, before that, this question was asked for 1 mark. Name the genus to which baculoviruses belong to. Nucleopolyhedrovirus. Usually you might ignore such words and all. There is a tendency that you won't give much importance to them. You might skip all that. So from there, 1 mark question was asked. So the genus to which baculoviruses belong to is Nucleopolyhedrovirus. And these baculoviruses, they attack insects and arthropods. You know, arthropods, insects are also coming under the phylum of arthropods. So other than insects, there are several members in the arthropoda phylum. So it attacks insects as well as other arthropods. Suitable for species-specific, narrow spectrum insecticidal applications. Very important point. Baculoviruses, they are very useful in species-specific application. Means these organisms will specifically attack that target species. It's narrow spectrum. It is useful for narrow spectrum insecticidal application because it will limit its action to that target species. It will not harm the other organisms. So it is species specific and it is narrow spectrum, means it is not damaging or causing damage to other organisms. Only those targeted species will be affected. This is desirable when beneficial insects are being conserved. You know that not all insects are harmful to us. Many of them are useful. And if we use some substances or some microbes which will kill the useful organisms or useful insects also along with the harmful ones, then it can do more harm than good. So these are targeting only those specific species and will help in conserving the beneficial species. And they are used in IPM, integrated pest management IPM program, or when an ecologically sensitive area has to be treated, these organisms, baculoviruses are being used. The advantages that they have is they will not affect other non-targeted organisms or other beneficial species. They are species specific and they bring about narrow spectrum application, or it will help in narrow spectrum application, means only those targeted or only those desired harmful species of these insects will be affected. Remaining other useful insects will be conserved. No harm for other useful species. So that is one of the most important advantage of using them as biocontrol agents. I'll repeat it. Trichoderma, which is a fungus, it's found in the root ecosystem. They also will help in controlling several plant pathogens. Then another group is baculoviruses, and they come under mainly under the genus Nucleopolyhedrovirus. And the advantages of using them as biocontrol agents are that they are species specific. They bring about narrow spectrum applications, means it is not going to harm any beneficial species. There are some organisms which can harm useful as well as the harmful ones. We will have or these microbes are introduced to kill a particular species. So apart from that, if the other useful species are also affected, that can affect the balance of the ecosystem. That is why in the last point it is said, especially when we have to treat an ecologically sensitive area, when we have to be so much concerned about maintaining the balance of the ecosystem, it's better to go for baculoviruses because they will not harm any non-targeted species. They are species specific. They will attack only those species and kill them. Now moving on to the next topic, microbes can be used as biofertilizers. Gayatri, you are here or worried about seminar?
No, ma'am.
Okay. So next is about use of microbes as fertilizers. Biofertilizers. Biofertilizers. From the term itself, you can understand. Fertilizers, they are chemicals. When you say chemicals, you know they are prepared in the factories. They contain different chemicals. But biofertilizers, you know whether it is, even though the fertilizers are chemical substances, we call them by the name fertilizers because they will help in enriching the fertility of the soil. So when you say biofertilizers, living organisms are used for enriching the fertility of the soil or to replenish the nutrient quality of the soil. Bacteria, fungi, cyanobacteria, all these can be used as biofertilizers. You're familiar with the examples too. Rhizobacterium, as the name suggests, Rhizobium. It's a bacterium and it is seen in the root nodules of leguminous plants, pulses. So they are provided with root nodules, as you can see in the figure. Small bubble-like structures are present in the root nodules, and these root nodules lodge these bacteria and they can fix atmospheric nitrogen. Plants cannot carry out the process. Plants need nitrogen compounds. So nitrogen is very essential for the healthy growth of plants, but they cannot make use of free atmospheric nitrogen, which is found in plenty in the atmosphere. So this nitrogen has to be converted to nitrogen compounds and added to the soil. And plants can absorb only in the soluble form. So when these microbes are there, they will help in converting atmospheric nitrogen into soluble compounds, which plants can use. They help in fixing atmospheric nitrogen. So Rhizobium bacteria is an example for a symbiotic bacteria. They live in a symbiotic association with the root nodules of leguminous plants. So both of them are mutually benefited. But free living bacteria are also there. Means they are not living in any symbiotic association. Free living ones. Examples, Azospirillum and Acetobacter, they also help in enriching the nutrient content of the soil. The main difference between Rhizobium and Azospirillum and Acetobacter is that a Rhizobium bacteria, it's a symbiotic bacteria, whereas Azospirillum and Acetobacter both are free living. And both these groups, both these three of them, Azospirillum, Acetobacter and Rhizobium, three of them, they can enrich the nutrient content of the soil by enriching the soil with nitrogen. Mycorrhiza, that also I think last year, class 11, you have learned. Mycorrhiza is a symbiotic association of certain fungi with plants. Example for such a fungi is glomus, a fungus which live in symbiotic association with plants. And that association you call as mycorrhiza. Both of them are mutually benefited. The fungus obtains food from the plant, whereas the plant gets phosphorus from the uh, phosphorus which is present in the soil will be provided to the plants with the help of these fungi. Okay, both of them are mutually benefited. Plants get phosphorus and in return fungus will get food from the plants. Plants are green in color, so they prepare food on their own by carrying out photosynthesis, and the fungus will get a share of it. In return, the fungus will provide phosphorus to the plants. Plants with such associations, they show some features. So plants having such associations, such symbiotic associations, they show some features. They show resistance to root-borne pathogens because these organisms are present in the roots of plants. So they can resist the pathogens, so root-borne pathogens, and it provides them increased tolerance to salinity and drought. They can resist salt concentration in the soil as well as scarcity of water. To a certain extent, they can withstand. Then overall increase in plant growth and development. The plant growth and development in whole, it will be enhanced because of the presence of these or due to these associations. I'll repeat once again. Mycorrhiza is example for a symbiotic association of fungi with plants. And as I said, this is symbiotic association. Both plants and fungi, both of them are mutually benefited. Fungi obtains food from the plant, whereas plants get phosphorus with the help of these fungi. Plants with such association, they show some uh, features. One is that some positive features. So they can resist root-borne pathogens. They'll be more resistant to salinity as well as drought. And you can find an overall increase in their growth and development because of these associations. Next is about cyanobacteria. This you had been learning from lower classes. They are autotrophic microbes which are also capable of fixing atmospheric nitrogen, just like rhizobium bacteria, acetobacter, azospirillum. They too can fix atmospheric nitrogen. And it's a group of bacteria, Anabina, Nostoc, Oscillatoria, all are included under this group. In paddy fields, cyanobacteria, they serve as biofertilizers. And it adds organic matter and helps in increasing soil fertility. Apart from fixing nitrogen, they can enrich the fertility of the soil by adding humus or organic matter to it. Once again, I'll show the slide. From the beginning, we'll have a quick recap what the points that we learned now. Just a minute, children. Okay, microbes as biocontrol agents. We started it last period. Okay, all these we had covered last period. Now we started from here, no? From here we started. Trichoderma is a fungus seen in the root ecosystem which can control several plant pathogens, and baculoviruses which come under the genus Nucleopolyhedrovirus. They are highly useful as biocontrol agents. They are species specific and useful for narrow spectrum applications, highly useful in pest integrated management programs, especially when an ecologically sensitive area has to be treated. They attack insects and other arthropods. Then we learned about using microbes as biofertilizers. Several examples we saw. Biofertilizers are living organisms which help in enhancing the nutrient quality of the soil. Bacteria, fungi, cyanobacteria. So examples for the bacteria which can carry out this carry out the role of enriching the soil with nitrogen includes Rhizobium, then Azospirillum, Acetobacter. Azospirillum and Acetobacter are free living, whereas Rhizobium bacteria lives in symbiotic association with the root nodules of leguminous plants. Then we learned about mycorrhiza, and mycorrhiza is also an example for the symbiotic association of fungi with the roots of plants, and they both of them are mutually benefited. The fungus will get food from the plant, and the plants will get phosphorus in return. And those plants have some added advantages too because of these associations. They will be more resistant to root-borne pathogens, better tolerance to salinity and also to drought, scarcity of water. They can withstand water scarcity as well as high salt concentration better than the other plants. And overall increase in plant growth and development also can be noticed. And towards the end, we discussed about cyanobacteria, a group of bacteria. Some examples include Anabaena, nostoc, and oscillatoria. They help in fixing atmospheric nitrogen. Apart from that, they also help in enriching the organic matter and adding fertility to the soil. And in paddy fields, they act as biofertilizers, enriching the soil with organic matter. Okay. With that, we have completed the chapter Microbes in Human Welfare. It was a very small chapter, easy chapter, but at the same time, so many questions can be asked from this particular chapter. Repeatedly, if you refer the previous year's question papers, you can see several questions, especially that chemically active, that bioactive molecules, then enzymes, in for 3 marks, 5 marks in different ways. As a table, it had been given in some question paper and you were asked to fill it up. Hope you understood about which topic I'm saying, that cyclosporin A, statins. So many uses, all those you should be very thorough with. Repeatedly questions are asked from this chapter, not only from this chapter, but this chapter is also having enough weightage. Don't think that very small chapter questions won't be asked. Don't skip any chapters, okay? You don't have to, you should not skip, I will say. Some students have a tendency to learn selected chapters. Don't do that. And even from the same chapter, don't do any selected study, picking points from here and there and learning. Don't do that. You have plenty of time. Okay. It is not only for the exam purpose. To get a base or to have enough subject knowledge, you should know all that. Don't skip anything. Read each and every line. So when the question comes, maybe purposely you have not strained yourself to learn a particular point, but if you have a habit of reading the text in between, all these points will come. Maybe that got registered in your brain, and right time you'll be able to reproduce those points. So see that you read each and every line, whether it is relevant or irrelevant. Don't bother about it. Just read the textbook along with the other points, and what you feel is relevant, you can highlight or underline. But read every time when you read the chapter, you read each and every line. Agreed? Yes. Now quickly summarize. Whom will I pick? Nevin? Nevin Soni?
Yes, ma'am.
Where are you? Yes. You have changed a lot, Nevin. Appearance, okay? Appearance wise, I said. Don't misunderstand. You might be thinking because I missed last period, I'm saying this. No.
Microbial biocontrol, right?
Microbes are being used as biocontrol agents. We discussed about a few organisms in the previous class. So that you leave. What we discussed today. Today means this period. Which fungus?
Mycorrhiza, symbiotic.
That is biofertilizer. As biocontrol agents, we learned a few points. 2 examples we learned about a virus and also about fungus. Vidar, I'll come back to you, Nevin. Be ready with the second example. Yes, you can.
Trichoderma,
Trichoderma.
they are seen in root ecosystem.
It's an example for a
Biological agents.
which microbe, which category it belongs to?
Fungus.
Fungus. Okay. Hmm.
They are seen in
Trichoderma?
root ecosystems
Ah.
and they control several plant pathogens.
Pathogens. Okay. Nevin, ready? You found out the point from the textbook? So how carelessly you were sitting, Nevin. Even after getting a few minutes, you could not find it out. Where is your lecture note? Show me that. Blank paper, no? Nothing is written. Last day's notes. Then find out from there. Not written. Donna?
Baculoviruses.
Yes.
Baculovirus.
What virus? Baculo.
Baculoviruses.
You were here or in between you went to the kitchen and came?
No, ma'am, I
think you
joined.
went. Yes, joined late. Okay. Baculoviruses. They belong to which genus? Most of the species? Nucleo polyhedrovirus. Okay. Tell me, give me a few points about baculoviruses. Nandana?
They attack insects and other arthropods, and they are suitable for species-specific and narrow spectrum in insecticidal application.
Then any other point to add, Mehak?
This is desirable when beneficial insects are being conserved to aid in IPM.
You like
program or-
news reading, Mehak? You read once, no problem. After that, without referring, you have to say. Read once, no problem. Done? Completed? Now you say it in your own words. Useful in which program?
IPM, Integrated Pest Management.
And these are highly useful when we treat what areas, what type of ecosystems?
Ecologically sensitive areas.
Ecologically sensitive. And we have to be careful about maintaining the balance of the ecosystem. These viruses can be used because it will not affect any non-targeted species. Then we learned about use of microbes as fertilizers, biofertilizers. Lydia?
Fertilizers are organisms that enrich the nutrient quality of the soil.
Nicely you read. Tanya? Examples.
Rhizobium,
Rhizobium,
mycorrhiza, cyanobacteria.
You disappeared. Cyanobacteria. What are mycorrhizae? Or what do you mean by mycorrhiza? Evelyn?
Symbiotic association.
Naureen? Yes, Evelyn?
Symbiotic association of fungi with plants.
Symbiotic association of fungi with plants. Okay, children. We will start with the seminar. Otherwise, we will not get time. Who is ready first? All are ready, I know. I have given you the reminder day before yesterday, I think. No? Gayatri is smiling. Where is Anna? Anna is also ready? Post. I think her video is post. Then
Yes.
Meenakshi. Yes, you are there. Meenakshi, Gayatri, one more was there. Mehak. Gayatri, Meenakshi, Anna, Mehak. Who will take it first? Who wants to start first? All are very generous in this case, no? Anybody, let them take. We are not in a hurry. Who is going to take? Quickly decide. Yes, Gayatri, you may start. You need to share the screen, no? Yes. Now I'll take rest for some time. Anna, Naureen, Punya, Sania, Nia, my God. Gayatri, when will my Boost and Bonvita reach school? Gayatri, Gayatri, this is because it's better if you can manage to display your video, because only then in the recorded session also you will be visible. What happened? Any help you need? Yes. Okay. Okay.
Good evening, all. Today, let's see a small portion from the chapter Human Health and Disease, which is the adolescence and drug or alcohol abuse. So, I think from the 9th or 10th standard, we've been learning about adolescence and the relative aspects to that. So, let's see what adolescence is. The adolescence word is derived from the Latin word called adolescere, which means grow to immunity. And let's try to define adolescence. Adolescence means it's a period or a process during which a child grows and becomes mature, both mentally and physically. That means the child undergoes mental and physical growth. As I said, it's a period which extends from an age of 12 to 18 years. It's like you can say that the adolescence is a period which connects your childhood to an adulthood. That means it's a bridge. It's a narrow, fragile bridge. And during this adolescence, the individual will undergo many behavioral and biological changes. So it's not wrong to say that adolescence is a very vulnerable phase of life. It is really depressing to say that nowadays a lot of youth, adolescents, is being drawn to drugs and alcohol. Now let's see some causes of drug use in adolescents. The first one is being curiosity. The adolescents are really curious. They want to know more and explore new stuff. So they are literally like drawn to such drugs and things like that. The other cause is being to escape from problems. Once they inject these drugs, like they literally cut themselves off from their surroundings. So they feel like if they inject drugs, they don't have to face their problems. And so for this same reason, they do drugs. And the next one is need for adventure and excitement. It's same as the curiosity, like they have the urge to go for adventures and excitements. So they go for drugs. The next one is stress. Stress from their parents, friends, relatives, or teachers for excelling in their academics, activities, or any other things. They are being pressured. And to escape from this pressure and stress, they seek help from drugs. And the next one is the television, movies, newspaper, internet, etc. These all platforms helps to draw this adolescents to drugs and introduce them to drugs. For example, if you see your favorite movie actor or actress doing drugs in a movie, you will generally feel like doing it and looking cool like them. And the next one is due to some unstable or unstable family structure and peer pressure. When a individual surroundings are not healthy, if their families are having some problems and not that happy or healthy family, they generally use such drugs to escape from them. And once you fall into such traps called drugs, it's really hard to escape from them. But it's never impossible. With the help of your parents, your friends, and good psychologists, and your will, you can always have a new life without these drugs and be happy as ever. Thank you.
So quickly you finished it?
It was a small topic, ma'am.
Okay, good. Well done. What else to say? Who else to do? And one more thing, Steffi, what was your topic? Steffi is here.
Yes, ma'am.
What was the topic that I have to write here. I forgot to write.
Just a second, one minute.
Others can say, my memory is not that.
Helminth diseases. Helminth
Okay.
diseases
I
and
remember now. Yes. Okay, I'll mark here. And then, and Gayatri did well. I think I felt a little more points you could have included. Maybe you could have taken a broader topic. I felt it got over very fast. Okay, anyway, well done. Then all are now experts in preparing PowerPoint presentations, no? Okay, who else? Who was the next person? Anna is missing from here. Okay, Anna or Mehek or Meenakshi. I think Meenakshi is ready. Yes. Time is still 3:40, no, children? In between, I'll forget the time. Every class I used to ask this. Yes. Meenakshi, what happened? You're tense, taking deep breath. Cool. Addiction and dependence. Okay.
Good afternoon. So today I am here to take the seminar of the topic addiction and dependence. So addiction is actually a psychological attachment to certain effects like euphoria, or you can say a temporary feeling of well-being. It's associated with drugs and alcohol. And these are the certain most commonly seen drugs and alcohol. And we can say that when a person is repeatedly using drugs, the tolerance level of their receptors will keep on increasing. So once if they take the regular amount of drugs, it is the receptors will need more amount of drugs for responding. So they'll have to take greater intake of drugs is needed. So this addiction will drive people. Once a person is addicted to drugs, he will have a tendency to take it even if it's not necessary, and this can lead the person into a vicious circle and gradually leads into drug abuse. That is about addiction. And dependence is actually a tendency of the body to manifest a characteristic or to show a characteristic of an unpleasant withdrawal syndrome if the regular dose of drugs they continuously use is suddenly discontinued. So a withdrawal syndrome is actually an abnormal physical or psychological feature that is followed due to the abrupt discontinuation of drugs. And the certain withdrawal symptoms are anxiety, fatigue, sweating, nausea, depression, shakiness, hallucinations, etc. So this is fatigue, or you can say tiredness, sweating, nausea or the tendency to vomit, then depression, shakiness, hallucinations, etc. Now, once a person get dependent to drugs, he will have a tendency that he will ignore all the social norms in order to get the sufficient fund for meeting their requirements, and that can lead to many socio-economic problems. And that's it. Thank you.
All had selected small topics, no? Now I should say that it should come around 10 minutes. Okay, anyway, well done. A PowerPoint presentation also you have made it attractive with all the colors, animations. And that man, no, with no charge in his battery, I found myself there at times. I feel in that place. Okay, when you people don't respond also, I used to feel the same. My energy has gone waste. Okay, and fully I need some recharge. Anyhow, I think you all are doing well. You all have a hidden teacher in you, I think. Now who is waiting next? Anna? Anna? Where are you? Like this, how can you take class? Hiding yourself. Connectivity issues are there? Or you were revising? You are preparing? Yes, Anna? No problem. I think we have only 5 more minutes. No, you can have it next day. You and Mehak. Mehak? Where are you, Mehak? You are prepared?
Yes, ma'am.
5 more minutes. You will need more than 5 minutes. What about Anna and Mehak? Mehak is saying yes, so that you will not have to take today, no? How many minutes you need, Mehak? Don't simply say more than 5 minutes. How many minutes you need? Yes? I'm not able to hear you. Pardon?
Maximum 7.
Maximum 7. 7 minutes I can grant you, but okay, we'll take it tomorrow. We'll wind up. And others, get ready with some topic of this present chapter. We completed that also. Notes I'll be sending you today. And test paper Friday. Agreed? No, you people are not saying anything that day. Don't come up and say that we haven't learned. No problem. No, human health and diseases. I fixed it on Friday. Very brief test, maximum 10 marks. Okay, maybe 20 minutes test. Then seminar will go as usual because same chapter only seminar is also being conducted. So that is okay. And today I'll be sending the notes of microbes in human welfare. If I forget, give me a reminder in the group. Group means you understood. Okay, then I'll send the notes. What else? And you can select one topic. Let it be a little more elaborate. This I felt very short. All have taken very small topic. So here afterwards, when you take a little more, maximum 5 only I said, but I thought I felt you were going a bit fast also. Maybe I think you were tensed, but all presented it nicely. I'm happy with the PowerPoint presentations also. And as and when you do more and more in all the subjects, you're going to do the same thing. No, so by the end of the year, you'll become expert in all these. Okay. So next class, when we see, I should get the names of the remaining students and the topic, or else you can post in the group. From there, I will note it down. That is better for future reference also. Okay. Yes, Steffi, what you're searching there? Okay. Okay, now I think Nidhi is missing. Who else is missing in the class? Nidhi, Nevin went? Nevin, I think he is coming like a visiting professor. Okay, bye children. See you next class.